You do have another 2 taxes to pay. They are called national insurance. And of course, because this is the way it works, you get different thresholds. So it's not just the £12,500 threshold you have to worry about, because I get a number of clients that say, oh, I haven't earned enough to pay tax. Well, they haven't considered these other thresholds. So Class 2 national insurance, you have to pay this. It is mandatory if your profit, again, is greater than £6,365. It is all done at the year end. So when you do your tax return, it's added to your tax figure to pay. If your profit is less than £6,365, you do not have to pay this. You're all pretty young, so you have to have at least 35 years national insurance contributions to get a full UK state pension, assuming there is a UK state pension when you get that age.
Yeah. It's all a bit bleak.
Yeah.
I'm glad you.
So you have to have a minimum of 10 years contribution to get anything from your state pension, and a maximum at the moment is 35 years. Okay? So at the beginning of your career, you might think, I really haven't got £153 to spend. I won't pay it this year. And that's perfectly okay. You can go and backfill years up to 6 years sort of later. You can voluntarily pay 6,300, and if you're under that, you can voluntarily pay your Class 2 national insurance. So people like me, I think I'm getting old. Oh, but how many years have I got? Then I'm paying into this. Okay? Your Class 2 national insurance mainly goes towards your state pension, and there are a few benefits that you get. Ladies, you will get a maternity allowance if you decide to go off and get pregnant and you've paid enough Class 2. Men, you can not get maternity allowance, but you can get paternity allowance, again, if you've paid into your Class 2. And there is some sick pay you can claim, but it's obviously not statutory sick pay. That only comes with employees. But those with a limited company, if you are paying yourself a salary through your limited company, make sure you pay yourself a minimum of £719 a month, and then that gives you your national insurance contribution to go towards pension and state benefits. Yes?
Does the 35 years have to be unbroken?
No, it doesn't. It can be 35 years in a whole 50-year cycle. Yeah. Yes?
So is there a benefit to, once you pay 35 years without going, I'll bugger that and I'm not going to pay any more of that?
Yeah. There is a benefit. If your profit is lower than that threshold, you can do that. If it is above that threshold, you have no choice but pay the £6,000, pay the amount you have to pay. Yep.
So do you know what currently if we pay Class 2 for the rest of our lives, what currently the pension is versus paying Class 4 for the rest of our lives?
Class 4 gives you no pension benefit, full stop. It is just another tax. It's only based on Class 2. And the amount of state pension depends on your number of years contribution, whether you've opted in and opted out during your life, etc. But it's kind of running. Well, I have some clients that only get £126 a week and some that seem to get £217 a week. I have no idea how they do that because I don't go into their history in 40 odd years. So to me, it's a pittance. You're not going to get much. You're not going to be able to survive really on a state pension. Yes?
What was that minimum?
Hang on.
What was that minimum monthly payment if you're a payee for the contribution? You said it's like 700.
Sorry, if you're a limited company and you're a director of the limited company, you need to pay yourself £719 per month, which will give you your Class 1 national insurance credit, because that's, as an employee, that's what you get. But anything you pay over the top of that as salary, you would then get employer's national insurance, which is a complete waste of your money. Yes?
So you pay both classes?
Yeah, I'm coming on to class 4. Okay, so that's class 2. It is mandatory as soon as you go over that threshold. Okay, and although it says you pay £3 a week, that's basically what it would be, but you pay it all in one lump sum as part of your tax bill. Okay, there's also this thing called class 4 national insurance, and that's based on your profit, and you pay this on any profit above £8,632. So if you made a profit of 8,640, you'd pay 9% of that extra £2. Yeah. Class 4 national insurance goes towards nothing. It is just a tax on the self-employed.
So if you earn 150k, oh no,
Okay. Just about to answer your question,
yeah,
I think.
yeah.
So that 9% that you pay goes between 8,632 and £50,000 profit. If you start, your profits are more than £50,000, then you would pay 2% national insurance on the bit above the £50,000. Okay? And that can be an awful lot of wonga when you start to add it up. Those of you that have student loan, I don't know whether you do. You never know. So, then you have to start paying back your student loan when your profits go above those thresholds. Yes.
My profits have been above those thresholds for a while.
That's depressing, isn't it?
Am I doing something wrong?
But are you put your hand up to say you're a limited company?
I'm not a limited company.
Oh, you're not a limited. I thought you said you were a limited company.
No, I just wanted to know about it.
Oh, okay. All right. If your profit's above that amount, you should be repaying it unless you are on a mortgage style student loan. And that keeps getting deferred and deferred and deferred. And eventually you'll have to pay it back. But on the new Plan 1 and Plan 2 styles, it is part of a tick box you are supposed to tick on your tax return to say, yes, I have a student loan, and yes, I'm supposed to be repaying it. So if your profits have been above that and you haven't been paying it back and you've been doing a tax return online, good luck to you, but they might catch you out.
Okay. So are they charging me interest then on...
Your student loan will have interest on it, yes.
Right.
So
if I just keep ignoring it, at some point it's going to bug me in the ass.
yes. Yes, and student loan will talk to HMRC. HMRC will then come back to you and say, you haven't been repaying your student loan. Please explain why. And then they'll go back through the tax years and say, actually, you owe so much.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the bottom of page, if you do an online one, I think it's the bottom of page 1 on the tell us about yourself, whether you have a student loan or not. Okay, so they're the thing, yes?
With the student loans, you say there's like a mortgage one and stuff.
Probably before you were born.
Okay, right, that's all right then.
Yeah.
So my one would be, regardless of whether I've started paying it or not, it gets wiped after 30 years.
Yep, all student loans get wiped off after 30 years.
So if you can get away with it for long enough, you can.
If you haven't, if you haven't earned enough, if you haven't earned enough in those years, then your student loan gets wiped off. Okay?
Yes.
If you're currently paying it, you still have 30 years to pay it back, and if you haven't paid it back within 30 years, the rest of it gets wiped off.
Okay.